Hi, I'm Harish, and today I'm going to show you how to use OpenClaw with ISA. I'll tell you what both these platforms are, how they're unique, and how they will help you build your own better personalized AI assistant that is 24 by 7 online and get you work done, right? ISA is a unified model gateway where you can pretty much use any LLM service provider out there like Anthropic's Claude or OpenAI's GPT or Moonshot's Kimi-K2.5, which is their latest model, or Gemini or Quen, right? The best part about ISA is, apart from being a unified model gateway, when you sign up, they don't have a subscription plan. It is pay as you go. So whatever tokens you consume, you pay for them, and it is actually significantly cheaper from using just one service provider. And also, it's easier for you to actually switch between all of them. Today, I'm going to show you how to configure this with OpenClaw. Now, what is OpenClaw? OpenClaw is your personal AI assistant that is 24 by 7 online and always running for you and ready to interact with you in whichever platform you like WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Slack, wherever you want to integrate, you can integrate. It has control of the browser if you want it to do certain actions. It can run on your machine, like I already said. It integrates with any chat app, any application. Over 50 plus integrations already available. And today I'm going to show you how to use ISA as your model provider with OpenClaw. First step is to obviously install OpenClaw, but before that, I'll quickly show you how to sign up and get your account set up on ISA. Actually, the simple way to do it is very easy. Click on Get Started, and it should take you to the sign up process. The link to the sign up is also in the description below for you to click and sign up very quickly. Once you sign up and log in, this is what you should see. Here you can chat with a specific AI model. You can select a model from the left. For this demo, we are going to use Kimi-K2.5. Why? Because OpenClaw is known to exhaust tokens like crazy. So you will end up spending a lot more than you usually do when you use, let's say, Claude Code through the terminal or through their chat or through using API. And Kimi-K2.5 is known to be very cost efficient as compared to Claude Opus 4.5, like Akash tweeted out about it here. And it is also one of the top model on the leaderboard on OpenRouter. OpenRouter is also a service provider for switching between models, but ISA is better. And then I show you how. But with that context in mind, once you have the login, this is what you should see. Click on API keys and then create a new API key. Right here, you have multiple options. You can get the API key by the quota. Right, you can set how much quota you want this API to consume so that you don't go overboard with your spends. You can also restrict to specific models itself, right? And then you can also restrict based on IP. If you don't want certain IP requests to use your endpoints, you can also do that through here. Click submit, and you should have an API key ready. Click copy and keep that on the side. The second step is actually go to developer docs. It's right here. Click on developer docs, and the complete tutorial of what I'm going to share today is actually available here. And use OpenClaw with ISA.one. All right, these are the steps. I'm going to follow this and show you how to run your own OpenClaw agent, fully autonomous agent running on your machine. First step is to install. There are multiple ways to install. You can install using Node if you already have one. You can install using Hackable. They already also have a desktop app that you can use with Mac OS. I'm going to use the terminal way. Copy this command, which is on their website, openclaw.ai. Go to your terminal and run it. While this is running, like I said, be sure to have your API key from ISA ready. This will take a few minutes. I'll show you the entire process of how to set this up. I'm not going to set up individual chats or individual services like they support here. That is for another video. I'm going to show that later. But this video will focus on how to configure ISA as your model provider as opposed to the default options that you have through OpenClaw. Let's wait for this to finish and come back to this. All right. Once the installation starts, this is what you should see. It asks you to give you details about what it does, accept the permissions. I would recommend using the quick start mode. So I'm going to click enter and then move on. Like I said, we're going to configure ISA, which is not available yet. Once it is available, you can just simply configure it from here. We're waiting for the PR to be accepted, but until then, let's skip it for now. And then I'm going to say if all model providers keep the current one default. And then channel, like I said, these are all the integrations that you can do where you can interact with your agent. I'm going to skip this also for now. And then at the end, let's configure skills. Preferred node manager is npm. I'm not going to install any skill dependencies as of now. We'll do it later in another video. But for a default AI agent using OpenClaw, you don't have to install any of these. So I clicked space and enter. And then if you want to add any of these API keys, feel free to do so. I'm going to skip it. I'm going to say no for all of these. But if you want these services integrated for your AI agent through OpenClaw, you can always configure them right from here. I'm going to skip all of these and then we'll get to the completion of the installation. We'll wait for the gateway service to finish. Gateway is where you can interact with the AI agent through the browser or through the terminal. I'll show you all of that. Don't worry about it. It's very simple. So you have three options, right? You can always do this later, but I'm going to open the web UI. It'll open your default browser. I'm going to open this in the browser that I'm showing to you here. This is your gateway, right? This is where you chat with your agent. And then let's complete the installation. I'm going to quickly finish. It says onboarding complete, which means now this is done. Now I'm going to open a new terminal. Go to cd.openclaw. This is where your agent is actually sitting. I'm going to open my code editor here, right? If you're a builder or if you're a non-developer, you can just simply follow these steps. There is no coding involved. Just open openclaw.json here, right? The file name is called openclaw.json. And first step, if you see this error called disconnected, the only simple thing that you have to do is go to your openclaw.json, copy the token value. There is only one token value here. You can just simply copy it, come back to the dashboard that you see, go to overview, and then paste it in the gateway token field and then click connect. That's it. Now your agent should be connected. You cannot chat with it yet because we haven't configured the model, right? So now let's configure the model. For that, like I said, go to the developer documentation. It's on docs.isa.one, or you can go to ISA.one and click on developer docs. You'll get this page and click on use OpenClaw with ISA.one. The first step is, since ISA is already not configured by default, the setup is a manual process, right? Or I would recommend just copy the first two env and models, right? I'll show you where to paste it. Go back to your code editor, right? And then above agents, paste the entire thing that you copied. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to show Kimi-K2.5. Like I said, you can always configure multiple models. I'm going to just add one for now, right? And then under ISA_API key, go back to your marketplace where you created the API key, copy the API key, and then paste it there, right? I'm going to paste it and not show it on the screen so that you create yours. Okay, I've pasted my API key. That is done. We've added models. Now the second step is where to tell the agents to use the default model that we just added. For that, go back to the documentation again, and now simply copy these two values, which is model and models, where you tell the OpenClaw agent that you have to use this as the primary model, and these are all the models that are available to you. You can also set fallback models. Those tutorials are available here, where we talk about how to use multiple models from ISA as fallbacks, right? Okay, let's go back, right? We were here, we copied the model and models value. So we'll go back to our code, and then under defaults, I'm going to paste it right here and then have the comma. That's it. Now the setup for using ISA is actually complete. You have to only do one last thing now. If you go back to the tutorial, we have pasted the value in the file itself, so you don't need the step. If you want it to be done through the environment variable like this, you can always run this and not have the value in the openclaw.json file. That's as simple as it is, right? Now the last step is obviously OpenClaw gateway restart. Let's restart this, right? I'm going to restart this, and then once this is restarted, give it a minute or two, or even just less than that, for it to now have OpenClaw as your model provider in the dashboard. Now let's say hello and see if it works. Let's say hello, and it should respond now with your API key. Perfect. That's it. This is how you use ISA with OpenClaw. Now, if you go back to your marketplace, it was $0.30 here. You can see it'll reduce now, right? You can also see usage logs, and it already consumed the token right here for today, right? This is the current time in my time zone, and you can see it has consumed tokens from here, right? That's how you configure OpenClaw with ISA. As simple as that, right? I'll come back to you with more tutorials on how you can add multiple skills that we offer, use multiple APIs that ISA comes with, because if you go to our docs, we have a lot of APIs that ISA comes by default with. There is financial API, there is Twitter API, there is smart search API, there is YouTube search API, many of them. I'll talk to you about all of them in multiple videos coming soon. Until then, set up ISA with OpenClaw and use it with OpenClaw. Kimi-K2.5 is the most cost optimized model for you to use. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.